Hello everyone, in this video we'll be discussing about input validation in Laravel. In previous video we saw how can we use CSRF token in from field. Now in this video let's talk about the input validations. For this let's open our from that we created previously. Right, if I go to my front end, you can see here is our logging form that we have created. Now let's go to this blade file. I guess we don't have to do anything in blade file because we added our input names. As you can see, for username I took a name and call it name. For email the name is email, and for the password the name is password, right? And in action we provided our route link, and as a method it is post method. Okay, we don't have to do anything in front in this blade file. We will go to our logging. Right, in logging previously we dump our data, so I will remove that. We don't need that. Now in here you can see here is a request class and here is a variable. In previous video I told you how you can use this request class to grab your all input data from your from easily in object orienting way actually. So we will be using that class in this video also. We will be not using the PHP's traditional way like get or post type of stuff. We will be using the object orienting way. Now let's return our this request from here. Let's see what it give us. Okay, let's go to our front end and refresh, fill our fields and submit. You can see we're getting this response, right? We're getting our email name, email and passwords, and also the CSRF token. Let me zoom a little bit. Right, we're getting the full details of our from. Now let's go to our controller again. In top of our return, now I will validate each field of my from. Like we have this name field, email and password, right? So I will validate them all. Obviously we don't need to validate the token because token is generated by Laravel. We will just validate the fields that we have created. Input validation is pretty easy in Laravel. Basically there is several way to validate your data. I will show you the simple and straightforward way. So all our data from froms are inside this variable, right? So let's say request, then there is a function called validate. So in the function we'll pass a array. Okay, in array here we have to specify our field name, like we named our username name and email and password, right? So we have to specify the name. My first field name is name. Now we have to specify what kind of validation rule we want to use in this field, right? For that I will say there are several validation rules. We will see the most useful ones. So for now I will say required. So what required does, basically I am saying that this field is required. That means if anyone submit the login form without writing his username, that will show a error that the name field is required. Now if I go to my from, let's refresh it, let's fill some from data, and when I will submit, it is showing me the submitted data. Okay, so let's go back again, and now I will remove this username. Okay, now let's submit it. and you can see nothing happens. Our page has been reloaded, but nothing happens. We are in the same page. We didn't get the response. Previously we saw, let's check again. If I fill the form and submit, you can see I get the response, right? If I go back and remove the username and then submit, it is showing nothing. It doesn't redirecting in the page, not showing the response. Okay, so what's happening? Basically Laravel is validating this form. Now how the user will know that he is getting any kind of validation error? Like if I just fill the form and remove this name and submit, it just reload and shows nothing. So basically Laravel sending us a error response also. It is in our session, so we didn't cover say a Laravel session yet, but still let's see how can we show our validation error in our login page. For that I'll go to the login blade, right? In here I'll check a condition. For that let's take a if, and in here I will call error variable errors, and then I will access any method, right? So what is this error variable? Basically this is when Laravel gets any kind of validation errors, it pushed the error in this errors variable. We didn't declare any kind of variable in our project, right? So this is the default variable from Laravel, and this is the method, any method that is checking that if there is any kind of errors in the error bag. Okay, we will cover the sessions and other thing in future videos. You don't need to worry about that. Just think that if we get any kind of validation error, that will go in this errors variable, and we can check by calling any method that if there is any kind of error in our error variable. Okay, now we will take a loop because we have multiple fields right now, right? So if we implement more than one rule, and if validation fails for multiple rules, that will throw us multiple errors. So we have to take a take a loop and render all the errors at our front end. Let me show you how can we do that. Let's take a for each. In for each, we will now grab all the errors in this error variable. Okay, so for that we can use errors, then we can call all method that will grab all the errors and give us a array, and we can loop that array. And let's take a single variable here, error. Now we will take a bootstrap class, alert, danger, and we will print this variable, error variable here. Okay, now let's go to our front end and refresh. Now let's fill up this form, remove our username and submit. And you can see here is the error message, the name field is required, right? So we can see now our validation errors also. Now let's go to our text editor again. Now let's go to controller. In controller we just validated one field. Let's add some more fields like email. That will also record, and the password will also record. So let's say password record. Okay, now let's refresh. In here we will again fill up the form and remove username and enter, and we are getting name field is required. If I submit this form empty, you can see we have now 3 errors. That's why in front end we took a loop. Okay, that's why it's looping through the errors and showing us the specific errors, like the name field is required, the email field is required, the password field is required, right? So that's how the validation works in Laravel. We will discuss more about validations and validation rules in next videos. For this video, I think that's enough. We'll be working with many rules, and we will also see how can we change this default validation text and many more. So see you at the next one.